What is up, breadheads? It's your boy Mike Holland at MC Holland34, bringing you a scarily close to live before lock on a sweet Monday evening. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. We got a nice 7-game slate tipping off here in about 50 minutes or so. We're going to try to get out of here about 15 to the hour here so I can make my last few lineups here. But looking at this thing here, we got 1,390 subs, so we'd appreciate anybody clicking on those buttons for us. We have 2K to first to try and win today. BracketBids, we had our guy Ryan Osterman on yesterday talking about his app, and get over to BracketBids.com to check that out. It is very important for us to get those guys out there, and you know, we're going to be partnering up with them to do some cool things. So if you make sure you hit those buttons for him as well, we definitely appreciate that. Also, use the promo code BREAD for 40% off your league activation fees with BracketBids. So having said all that, let's dive right into the slate. A quick overview on this one. Pretty much do what you want because we have mid-major tournaments on this slate. So pricing is pretty soft. It's going to be a ton of guys that are going to project for over 4X if you run your optimizers here. Value galore. So we're going to be able to do whatever we want. We'll kind of identify the guys we want to use in large fields and guys we'd much rather use in cash. So having said that, like I said, hit the like and subscribe button. Ask any questions in the chat. We'll try to get this rundown done here in about 35 minutes. So the first game here, Arkansas State -1 at Troy, 141 implied total here. Tempo-wise, looks like Arkansas is going to pace up Troy here. Arkansas 59th in tempo, Troy 240th. This is the Sun Belt final here, so in for a really nice game. Arkansas implied for 71 points. Both defenses are really good. However, Arkansas State will get a stock boost. Troy's turning it over at a 20% clip this year and also getting their shot blocked at a 10% rate. So Taron Todd, he's at 7,800 for Arkansas State. He leads the team in usage and shot rate here. 22% assist rate is pretty nice as well. A 2.5% both shot blocking and steal rate. So you definitely don't mind that. The only problem is the price is a little bit of a concern for me. At 7,800, that's a pretty hefty price tag when the rest of this team is also going to project really well and also has high upside. So 7,800, I think Taron Todd for large field only. Kobe Julian at 6,800. He kind of does a little bit of everything for this team. He's been in college basketball for forever. I believe this is his 6th year. He spent the last 5 with Louisiana. But he's more of a cash type play. The two guys that I really want to get to are going to be Pignon and Nelson. Pignon, the former Arkansas recruit here, he's 6,700, shooting 37% from 3 on 215 attempts. You know, he's not shot dependent because he's got a 5% combined stock rate. So when you look at it here, if he's going to project 34 plus minutes, I'd like him to hit value and to exceed it. So I will have some Pignon in my lineups here. I just think he's an awesome play. The best play probably on the entire slate is Isaiah Nelson at 6K. Look, fouls last game, move on from something like that, but he's typically a guy that plays 32 to 34 minutes. And you're looking at upside of roughly 40 to 60 fantasy points. So he's just got rates across the board. He should be 8 to 9K on this slate. I'm not sure why we're seeing him at this particular price tag, but it's going to be a big number for him as long as he stays out of foul trouble. So that wraps up this side here. We got some people jumping in the chat. We see you, Forklift Jeremy, saying, "Let's go, belly ball. Let's go. Need this tonight. Didn't have time to research today." Hey, man, I got you. We're right here for you, my man. So appreciate you joining. We'll flip over here to the Troy side. Arkansas State 76th in defensive efficiency. Really two plays for me on this Troy side. Tatum Conaway, 7,900. He's an absolute baller. He leads the team in shot rate, assist rate. He's second in the country in steal rate at 6%. 6 straight games over 30 fantasy points. He's got upside to go for 40 plus here in the championship game. So last time we played these guys, 28.5 fantasy points. At 8K though, he's got big upside here. So I'll be using him in some of my larger fields. Jackson Fields, he's coming off a big game, but more of an outlier. I'm not really using him. I'd rather save $300 and go down to Thomas Dowd here at 6,800. Dowd is also coming off of a big game against JMU. Where he had 42 fantasy points. I definitely like him more than Fields. He has double upside. His minutes are a little more volatile. But, you know, I imagine the championship game, you know, these starters are going to be out there for 28 plus minutes here. So definitely don't mind a Thomas Dowd on your lineup here. So that'll wrap up the first game. We'll flip it on over to the second game here. Wofford -1 at Furman, 143 implied total. Both teams play slow, but they're going to shoot probably a combined 60 to 65 three-pointers in this game. So all the pace isn't going to be great. Half of the shots taken in this game are going to be three-pointers. Wofford sitting here at 72 implied total. Furman 167th in defensive efficiency. Really three guys that I'm looking at on this side here. Corey Tripp, he's 7,500. He's the lead guard here for Wofford. 29% usage rate, 22% assist rate. I render him more of a cash play. I look at the guys I talked about earlier, like Connorway, Jaron Todd, as more of like your high upside GPP targets. Now he does have some upside himself, but he doesn't flash it as often. I actually like for tournament upside, Kyler Filwich here. He's 7,300. Probably projection wise, normally would be like a 28 to 30 minute guy. I think he's live to play 34 to 35 minutes. And if he does, he's going to absolutely smash. 24% usage, 40% combined rebounding rate, and 24% assist rate for the big man. And then you also factor in a 4% combined stock rate. So I really like Kyler Filwich here for large field tournaments. The rest of the squad here, some of the cheapies between Jackson Civilis and Dylan Bailey. I'm probably looking at Dylan Bailey. I don't know that I'll click the name on anybody outside of Filwich here on this team, but Bailey's a 3-point shooter, kind of shot dependent. Don't know if I love that in this environment, but at 4,700, I want you to do a few other things here. So probably most of my exposure is going to go to Filwich, and then if I decide to play in any like double ups last minute, Corey Tripp would definitely be an interesting option as well for this side. Flipping it over to the Furman side, Wofford 219th in defensive efficiency. PJ Smith, man, he's been awesome in this tournament here. So he's the guy for them. 40 plus fantasy points in the last three. Rarely under, like you just know the floor is so good with this guy. Rarely under 30 fantasy points in conference play. So he's gonna be mega popular. Just a great play overall. He's gonna take 13, 14, 15 shots here. He's gonna have the ball in his hands. Just an awesome play here. I think Nick Anderson for $1,600 cheaper is either an interesting stacking partner or a pivot away from Smith in the large field. Now he's super shot dependent, 24% shot rate. I don't know that I'm in love with the upside. He's really got to make his shots, and typically he's making the shots as being assisted by Smith. So I don't know that I'll get to him in the large field, but he's certainly an interesting option, and PJ Smith's going to be very, very owned here. So Nick Anderson, at least a name to kind of file away, but I think I'm rendering him more of like a double up in cash stacking partner here. Ben Vanderwall would be the only other guy. All these forwards that they have, they're all kind of like priced correctly. Now Vanderwall's seen, an uptick in minutes. Obviously had the overtime game against Chattanooga, but he's probably going to play around 29 to 30 minutes here. His rates aren't great. He doesn't really take many shots here. So I'm probably off on everybody here except for PJ Smith. So, Filwich and Smith, these two guys have some big upside for tournaments. I think that's basically where I'm going to go in this particular game. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Chat, if you got a question, toss it out there. We got two games locking at the 6 o'clock time, the two that we just covered. Make sure you check out our partner BracketBids.com or download the BracketBids app. And the most important thing, hit those like and subscribe buttons for us. We're being brought to you by drroto.com. Check out all of our work that me, Eric, and Jay do. And then we can't forget our guy, CC Hustle, who will be helping out and is going to be doing a lot of content for us this week. So we'll move on to the next game. Oakland +2, playing Robert Morris here. 138 implied total. The tempo, 339th for Oakland. Robert Morris going to pace them up, 137th in tempo. This game projected to be 68 to 70. So, they got some big price tags, but we've seen these guys in this same game environment twice already this year. Robert Morris won both games, but only a combined 10 points, and I actually picked Oakland +3.5 last night. And also I like the money line +120 for Oakland. to pull this upset here. And the reason why is because they have two bigs that can challenge Alvaro Fogueras on the other side, and that's Alan McCabe. He's 8,400. Now, his price tag for DraftKings, it feels a bit overpriced, but he does have upside at this price tag. He's not going to be owned. I will probably not be using him because I'd rather go to Burro Navalura. So, picking one of these guys, I think is definitely an interesting option. But Brewer here, I mean, he put up 50.5 against them last time out. He's definitely a large field option. He's live to play, 32 plus minutes here. And just a really, really solid role for these guys. So if you want to play one of the forwards in this spot, I absolutely like that idea for large field tournaments. Jalen Jones here at 5,300. I don't know if I want to chase this. Like, the minutes are up 23 and 33 in the last two, rendering him only large field. The 11 rebounds, not really over the last two games, not really sustainable. The assist upside, I can buy into that, but 5.5, 6 rebounds. I just, he's more of a, couple of boards type of guard, small guard for them. So I don't think I'll chase it, but if you want to click his name for a large field, I can understand that. And also the reason why it's $800 cheaper is Isaiah Jones, and he's guard forward eligible at 4,500. He's going to play 29 to 30 minutes in this one. So 20 plus fantasy point upside here for Isaiah Jones. More of a cash target for me. Like, he's not really that guy that's going to take double-digit shots. But he's going to be on the floors, a big game. So, I think you could do worse as far as, spin, as far as your spin downs. So don't mind Isaiah Jones here. On this Robert Morris side, it's really the spin ups that I'm looking at. Oakland 212th in defensive efficiency. We will give a boost here, just looking at kind of how the metrics profile against each other. Robert Morris should get a boost here in their 3-ball percentage as well as an assist boost. Oakland giving up sub 300 in assist rate to opponents. So Cam Woods and Alvaro Figueres, the top two dogs for this team. Cam Woods sitting here at 8,700. He will probably play every single minute because he has played 40 minutes 2 of the last 3 games. Didn't in the last one because they blew out Wright State by 21. So he would have played the entire game there. Really safe floor here. Live to play, every single minute, a 28% shot rate and assist rate, a 3% steal rate to go with it. I definitely don't mind Cam Woods here as an option, even though, I'm going to be trying to figure out how to get Alvaro Figueres in my lineups. You can play both guys if you want to. I'm just not in love with, 2 9K guys here. But, you like Cam Woods is just taking over 7, 3-point attempts. That's a lot of 3-point attempts that he's throwing out there. So for Figueres, he's a large field option. 40 plus upside for Figueres. He had basically a 50 ball along with Buru in that last time that they played. So, double upside for this guy. Is the player of the year in this conference here. 21% assist rate, 7% combined stock rate. Yeah, I'm going to be using Figueres in a lot of lineups today. And where I'm not using him, I'm probably using Cam Woods. And if you want to get a little bit weird in the large field, play them both together. So that'll wrap up that game. That was our third game. Let's hit the comments real quick. We got our boy Fantasy Nav dropping the bread here, doing the producing tonight. Appreciate Eric and everything that he does for us. Mama Rock saying, let's get it. What's up, Mama Rock? It's a long time. Yeah, there's no Jack Golke walking through the door. They do have a guy that's similar to Jack Golke, but he just can't make a shot. His name's Max Christie. He's kind of falling off the map, though. And then Mama Rock saying, what's up to Eric the Blue? So, appreciate Mama Rocks diving in here. Remember, if you have any questions, have any comments, any takes, throw them out there. We absolutely love the engagement. All right, we got about 23 minutes or so, so we're making pretty good time here. We'll flip over to this next game. Charleston +4 playing UNC Wilmington, 150 implied total. So you definitely like that. UNC Wilmington getting the pace up. Charleston playing top 50 in tempo. UNC Wilmington 274th in the country. Charleston to project to the score here, 73 points. UNC Wilmington 185th in defensive efficiency. Andy Berzovic, I mean, we know how good this guy is. Every time he takes the floor, he's got big upside. Gonna take 15 plus shots, has double-digit rebounding upside. He can block some shots. He's not really the biggest producer of stocks in this thing. But yeah, I mean, Brzovic, we know he's definitely a stud in this one, averaging nearly 19 and 8 on the year. So if you want to spend all the way up for Brzovic, I don't mind it. I just, for $400 cheaper, you can play Fulgidis, who went for 50 against these guys and 50 to 60 upside in that other game. So Brzovic, I think, is just okay as a spend up option. CJ Fulton at 7,200. Probably not getting to CJ Fulton here. He doesn't take a lot of shots. I know he has, 10 assists or live, right? So you definitely don't mind that, but that's so dependent on other players. He's got to, obviously those guys have to make the shots, which gets a little bit annoying. Wish he had a little bit higher of a shot rate. I think I'm going to more Darren Boyd here at 6,200. He's been awesome for them. At 6,200, he's going to play 34, 35 minutes here. A really, really safe floor for Darren Boyd. More cash, but he has, he has upside to, he has upside to get to a 35 spot for us. So probably not playing him in the large field, but some of the smaller tournaments, I definitely don't mind him. Really only guy, I'm not playing Tavares in this one. Lazar Jovic, the transfer from Xavier, he's 5,600, and he's okay. I'm not going to get too excited because we know that he's not going to play 30 plus minutes unless you get into an overtime situation or foul trouble, right? So just an okay play, I guess. Mama Rocks is asking, didn't get to Andy Charleston. Should I try and force Boyd? Yeah, I don't think you need to force anything on this side. I think Boyd's interesting if you're playing the smaller field. The one guy I would try to get different with would be a Brzovic, because we talked about Fulgidis and we're going to talk about all these cheap forwards that we have on this slate. So yeah, I don't think we need to force it. And you have this UNC Wilmington side it's like spin the wheel. All these guys have 5x upside. So on the UNC Wilmington side, 77 implied total here. Charleston 146 in defensive efficiency. Remember getting the pace up spot here. The problem with UNC Wilmington is they play a ton of guys, so it gets a little bit annoying. Donovan Newby, he leads the team in shot rate, 19% assist rate. He's kind of your safer play. I'm not going to get excited about this guy in a large field setting. It's the cheaper guys for the GPPs that I'm going to be playing. So Donovan Newby, you're playing a smaller tournament, double up. You want somebody that's safe, the guy that actually plays 30, 31 minutes for this team. That's definitely Donovan Newby. Sean Moore, he's a little on the safer side, but still volatile. He's 6,400, going to play 30 minutes or so in this spot. He's going to probably project well on a lot of models. However, I do worry a little bit about his upside. I'm not sure that he's really a guy just based on his rates that's going to go out and get you, 35 at 6,400. So could I see him getting to 30 in this spot? Absolutely. So I'm not saying Sean Moore is a bad play. I'm just saying he's more of a safer cash type option. Bo Montgomery at 6,100. He has gone absolutely bonkers in the last couple of games for these guys. He's 6,100 at the guard position. He's 14 of his last 24. He has that type of potential to take over a game. He can also completely disappear and sink your lineup and get you a 13 or a 14. So be careful here. These are the GPP guys I'm talking about. Kamari McGriff. No, we had that really good game against Hampton, but 19 minutes at 6K. That's pretty tough. So the way UNC Wilmington plays, they play Obioha and McGriff at the 5. Obioha starts, McGriff comes off the bench. They basically play 20 minutes each. Both of them have a 7% shot blocking rate. That's their job: rebound, block shots, and be efficient around the rim. So McGriff, why would I pay 6K when I can get the starter for $1,600 cheaper? Even better rates across the board. So for me, I think Obioha is pretty interesting for a large field tournament at 4,400. The problem is I wouldn't play him in anything double up or single entry, because he's only going to play 19 to 20 minutes, both he and McGriff. So I'm probably off on McGriff, which probably makes him a really good tournament play, and playing some Obioha in the large field. These other guys here, Greedy Williams, Nolan Hodge, they're going to play 20-ish minutes or so. Greedy, kind of a meh type play. Nolan Hodge at 3,900, he can absolutely get hot, but he's kind of another guy that you're just spinning the wheel with these guys. Like one or two of these guys is probably going to go off with either or more or a newbie here as far as a 4X plus. So I think for me, it's going to be Harlan Obioha. I think he's probably the guy that I'm probably going to lean into the most, price to upside essentially, but large field only on that side. So if you guys have any questions or gals, last guy in, pivots, 2v2s, kind of like Mama Rock says, subscribe, get up in the chat. We're trending towards 1,400 subs. We're going to be bringing you content pretty much every day, probably twice a day. We'll see if we can't wear out our producers and ourselves in doing this. We've got about 17 minutes. We've made some really good time, especially because this next game here is one that I really only have interest on one side, and that's Pepperdine plus 18 against St. Mary's here, 138 total. Pepperdine going to pace up St. Mary's. They're 75th in tempo. St. Mary's really strong defensively, 359th in tempo. Pepperdine off of this amazing 3-game run in the WCC tourney. I just don't see how this continues. I know Mo Odom's been awesome. We're not playing Mo Odom in a 60 total. We'll play some St. Mary's guys at a nearly 80 team total here. Marcellonis, I never play him. And I always miss out on the random 40 spot that he puts up once or twice a month. So he's definitely safer. 25 plus fantasy points, right? In this particular spot, high assist upside. You just don't know the games when he's actually going to take a ton of shots. And recently he's been doing that, which is nice to see. He's live to play all 40 minutes, but I don't know that he's going to play more than 32 or 34 minutes here, right? They should blow these guys out by 20 if you think the game's close. I mean, yeah, these guys become even better options. So Marcellonis, just kind of there for me. I'd much rather play these forwards. Mitchell Saxon at 7,700. We know he's boom bust along with Polias Morauskas and Harry Wessels. Oddly enough, Wessels probably has the safest floor right now. But Mitchell Saxon, if he does not foul, he will absolutely smash these guys. I know, played on January 18th there, only 24 fantasy points. But that was a 24-point blowout. So you got to be careful with these guys. Only in large field tournaments for Saxon. He is live for a double-double with 3 or 4 blocks in this spot. If it's somehow, less than a 15-point game going down the final 5 minutes or so. So we'll see. He fouls a ton, so you just have to know that. If he doesn't foul a ton, he'll play 32 minutes or so. Morauskas is kind of the same. Every time I play him, he fouls. Every time I either have little exposure or no exposure, he goes off for 40-plus fantasy points. So that's just what you're getting with Morauskas. He takes a lot of shots. He does have high rebounding upside. He's got double-double upside. He's got one of the highest ceilings on the slate for somebody in this price range. In the mid-tier range, probably the highest ceiling in the slate. So we need this game to stay close. Beware the blowout. Only use these guys in the large field. Harry Wessels here at 4,600. They're starting to play Saxon and him together, which is raising his floor and his ceiling towards the end of the year here. So really solid role right now. 20 plus minutes in the last 3. I hate that his price tag is now 4,600. You're just going to need those couple of extra, rebounds to really pay off in a tournament here. He's no longer like that 3.9, 4.1 guy. So, don't mind Harry Wessels here. And really taking a shot on maybe one of these guys on a lot of my tournament lineups, just because this is an 80-team total, and those 4 guys can get it done for you. I'm not really messing with like a Mikey Lewis or a Jordan Ross. So. That'll wrap up this one right here. Got about 14 minutes. We've made excellent time. Any questions in the chat here? Nobody popping off. Where you guys at? Let me know what you think. I also I took the over on the Furman. I think it got down to 137.5. Talked about that Furman Wofford total. They're going to shoot a ton of threes. I get the game's not going to be very fast, but they're going to shoot a ton of threes. They've already went over that. They've already went over 140 twice on the year, so I don't really know what's going on with that total. But I'm sure everybody will brick everything. Everyone's in the building. That's what's up. Everyone must be waiting for this final game here. Youngstown State +2 taking on Cleveland State in the Horizon Conference Tournament. 138-point total. Youngstown State plays pretty fast, 62nd in the country in tempo. Cleveland State 275th. Youngstown State team total here 68 projected by Ken Palm. Cleveland State 124th in defensive efficiency. It really comes down to 2 guys on this Youngstown State side. Nico Gillette here is 8,500. with no EJ Farmer, like he's going to carry the load. Massive upside. He didn't play well, in the first game against Cleveland State here. The second game, he had 35 fantasy points. So, we know he can reach back, go for 35, 40 here because of all the guys that kind of in his price range and better spots, right? Also at the guard position, it feels like some of these forwards that you pay up for have some of that mega upside that they can tap into. So to let more of a contrarian spend up, especially when you consider that everyone's going to run to Juwan Maxey and just play him. And I get it. He's one of the best plays projects as one of the best plays on the slate. 30 plus upside, right? He's going to play 35 minutes. The rates are, he takes a lot of shots here. 15% assist rate. Like the problem with Maxey is that he can absolutely disappear. So you do worry about that a little bit here. But yeah, he's going to be, and the problem is too, he's going to be mega popular. He's going to be super chalk. And I understand that. And I get that. Him and Nelson, a couple of other guys we kind of talked about, are going to draw major ownership on this one. So, 0 for 12 in the last game, right? But I'm brushing that to the side. More boom bust though. So if you want to play somebody different in a large field, I get it. Could he put up 15 fantasy points? Absolutely. Like his rates aren't that phenomenal. It's not like he's going out and getting 6-7 dimes. He's not going out and getting 6-7 rebounds. He's not producing a ton of stocks. So like while he might project good playing 35 minutes, it does not mean that he will actually produce. So in the large field, I want to be underneath the field just because people are going to see like, 4,600 starter going to play 35 minutes. Just be careful is all I'm saying. Now, could he go for 30? Absolutely. I mean, he has that upside. Absolutely. So I'm just saying it's kind of interesting in the larger fields to move away from. In smaller fields, like it's going to be really tough to get away from. I like to play that $15. I think it's like 40 people tonight. But usually like a 70-person tournament. I usually, want to lock him in at something like that or double ups, things like that. You don't want to take any chances. But in the large field, like I would imagine he's going to be 40% or more on this slate. So, just be careful with Juwan Maxey. Flipping over to the Cleveland State side, 70 implied total. And kind of how I talked about Maxey, I kind of feel similar with Dylan Arnett. Now he's a little more expensive. He's $6,900. I think he's going to project really well. He's going to play 34, 35 minutes. He's been awesome for these guys. He feels safe, but I worry a little bit about the tournament upside. Now, the floor is there. Like if you're playing cash, like you just play him. He's rarely under 25 fantasy points at 7K. So, if he's going to be mega popular, the merit to fading him is there because he is a guy that will go for a flat line 4X, right? And this is a slate where you're going to have to go 5X plus because there are a ton of guys that are going to be able to get there with the way that this slate is priced out. So Dylan Arnett, I'm going to have exposure to him. I'm just saying kind of like a Maxey on the other side. Just don't go crazy. Remember, this total is only 138. Tevin Smith sitting here at 6K. Going to take a lot of shots. Kind of a safer option. Doesn't get me too excited for tournaments, right? Would love for him to take, if you're playing him, you'd love for him to take 14 to 15 field goals in this spot, but not really any assist rate. You definitely want some stocks to pay off 6K. Taj Stavisky and Abrima Diba are pretty cheap for this squad for guys that are going to play 28 to 30 minutes. Diba may be playing a little bit more, but Stavisky here, kind of like your boom bust GPP option. Very, very shot dependent, shooting 35% on the year from three. He's a transfer, I believe, he's from Canisius. But Stavisky, I think he's a fine play, but you better hope he hits his 3-pointers in this one. If he hits 3 or 4, you're going to be fine. Obviously, that 3.5 per 3-pointer at 4.3, right? He hits 3 of them. You're going to be rolling. Abrima Diba sitting here $200 cheaper. Yeah, if you just look at like the minutes, they're there, 30 plus minutes in 4 of the last 5. 4X plus and only 2 of those. So the reason why is because you're out there for 32 minutes doesn't mean you're going to do anything. He has a 9% shot rate on the season. So I don't really like to play guys with. I would rather take a shot on Stavisky shooting 8 3-pointers than I would Abrima Diba taking 3 shots. The minutes will be there. I can't get to him. So oddly enough. But that was not the last game. I apologize. There was one more game after this that we'll wrap up with here before we get to our core. San Francisco plus 10. What's up, Darren? San Francisco plus 10, playing Gonzaga here, 154 total. I don't like this spot for San Francisco, especially with Marcus Williams being out. Now, Malik Thomas sitting here at 8,200. He's gonna take a billion shots. This is their last desperate chance to get into the tournament by winning the WCC. He's going to take 17 plus shots. You're paying for that now. He's 8,200. Sure, because he's going to be on the floor for 35 plus minutes in this one. The rebounding will be there. He should pick up a couple assists. Large field GPP option. All these guys are going to be large field GPP options for me. Tyrone Riley at 6,600. I mean, he's kind of. I thought he was going to, kind of sit in that secondary role now, but he's really in like the third role here as far as scoring goes, because Ryan Beasley went absolutely crazy last night. So Tyrone Riley at 6,600, like, it doesn't get me too excited. Does he have 30 plus fantasy point upside? Sure. I would much rather use a Malik Thomas or a Ryan Beasley though. And flipping it over to Beasley here, obviously had that really incredible night last night at I think it was a 3,900, shot 10 for 15 from the floor against Washington State, 43.5 fantasy points. I really hope people chase that at 5,700. Like, he's really, really shot dependent. He doesn't really produce stocks at all. So, he's got to get hot from the floor again against the Gonzaga team. And they're only applied for 72 in this one. So, yeah, all these guys are under GPP options. I think Malik Thomas is probably my favorite. Flipping over to the Gonzaga side, really only two guys because, they like to play a bunch of guys. Nimhard at 8,800 is always in line for like your smaller tournaments, like your cash lineups. Does flash tourney upside from time to time. Obviously been over 40 fantasy points in the last couple of games here. If this game stays tight, he's live to play all 40 minutes. If not, he'll play 35, 36 minutes or so. I think you can use him either in cash or GPPs, especially here in the Hammer. And then Graham EK. I mean, is there anything scarier if you're on the top of the leaderboard and you have Graham EK, who's only going to play 22 minutes, and you don't have him? And you start seeing people climb the ladder when he drops a 40 bomb on you. So yeah, EK here, 23, 24 minutes, should have his way. Should blast these guys, at 25 and 23 minutes last time. He's got upside for 40 though. So Belly Ball says, scrambling, building lines. Good luck, everyone. Late to the show. Anyone in the chat know anything on EJ Farmer? I still haven't seen anything on EJ Farmer here, so I don't believe he's going to be in. If anybody sees anything different, let me know. All right, we got 20 minutes here until we lock our lineup. So we'll finish up with the cores that we have. And of course, we do two types of cores. One's going to be a cash core that is going to be, used for double up cash games or more like safer tourney options. And then we do a tourney build that has like bigger upside guys. So guys that can win you some combos here. So on the cash safer tourney options here, and that doesn't mean they don't have upside. It's just saying we like the floor on them. PJ Smith for Furman at 7,400. He's just been that guy for him. Rarely goes under 30 fantasy points. This is a championship game. I definitely expect him to take a ton of shots, be heavily involved, 35 plus minutes for him. I talked about Dylan Arnett. I was a little bit worried about his upside, but I definitely like his floor. Very rarely is he under 25 fantasy points, so it's 6,900. Dylan Arnett for Cleveland State, definitely a quality option. Sean Moore, I talked about a little bit worried about his upside for large field tournaments, but he's 6,400, going to play 30 minutes. UNC Wilmington has a really nice total. So I definitely like him to get to like that 24, 25 fantasy point mark. And then Terrence Ford here at 5,600, going to play basically every single minute in this one at 5,600. So definitely like him, as far as a floor type play. So that's going to be 5.9K per player on that particular build. And like I said, these cores, these are guys that we're, you don't have to build all four, come up with four of the guys to play with them, but these are the guys that we kind of like for like cash or like safer tourney options. For the tourney, big upside, Alvaro Figueres at 8,600 is he's in a smash spot, put up 50 against Oakland last time. Could see that definitely happening again here in the championship game, even though I like Oakland to kind of be an upset pick here. Kyle Filwich here for Wofford at 7,300. If you plays typically 28 minutes or so during the season, but can get into those mid 30s, especially with this type of tournament setting, right? So at 7,300, if you project him for 35, 36 minutes, like he's going to absolutely smash the slate. So definitely like him here. Isaiah Nelson going to be mega popular, but at 6K, there's very few guys on the slate that at this price tag, really very few guys in the country at a 6K price tag that can go for 40 fantasy points or more. So Isaiah Nelson going to be mega popular too. And then Juwan Maxey, a boom bust GPP option. I would not categorize him as a safe play. The rates across the board aren't great, but he's going to play 35 minutes. He has flashed 30 plus fantasy point upside at 4,600. I definitely think he's going to be popular. And, if you're using, in the large field, he has that upside. There's also merit to fading him in that. So, all these guys definitely fadeable. They're probably going to be popular, but they're also guys with some of the highest upside at their particular price tag. So that'll leave you with 58.75 over on here. Jared Bush jumping in saying Troy versus Arkansas at under 141.5. Yeah, I mean, they're both really good defenses. I definitely don't mind that call. So Darren saying don't want the safety, we want the heater, Mike. Yep, there it is, my friend. Second that to Mama Rocks. Jason B, what's up, man? Good luck tonight, dude. Appreciate you rocking the shield. If anybody's interested in rocking a one-and-done shield, reach out to us, DM us. I think we got 8 to 10 guys now. We appreciate all the love and support, and gals rocking that logo on DK. So we appreciate that. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Make sure you visit BracketBids.com or download the BracketBids app. Use the promo code BREAD for 40% off your league activation fees. And I believe we're going to be back later on tonight talking betting lines in the big conferences, the Power 5 conferences. So make sure you check out. I believe it's going to be me and the conductor on later tonight, giving out some picks here. So I appreciate everyone's time tonight. I'm going to finish my last few lines here. Hey, there's only one thing left to do tonight, and that's get this bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.